Welcome back. Hey, what a delight to have back in the studio with us our good friend Kevin Lamson. He heads up Hearts with the Mission, and I can't say enough about what this ministry does and reaching out to homeless teenagers and the work they do throughout Jackson County. But that, like any other ministry, you grow or you die.
Oh, absolutely.
And you're growing. Good to see you, bud.
Nice to see you too, Perry.
Yeah. So you're moving over into Grants Pass. You're renovating a building. How's it going?
It is going phenomenal. Really? Yeah, the community up there has just been so welcoming and so supportive. First Community Credit Union, I think last time we were here we were talking what was going to happen, ended up making it possible, where we have 3 acres and a 4,300 square foot home, and
wow,
basically at no cost, and we're in the middle of renovating it and hoping to be open by the middle of next month.
Middle of next month. And how many will you be able to facilitate there?
We'll have 18 beds.
18.
Yeah, 5 minutes straight down the street to Grants Pass High School.
So how big is the problem in Josephine County compared to Jackson County?
You know, I think the problem's equal anywhere, but Josephine County didn't have any resources for youth. And I think the community saw that. In fact, Nick Nurse had been talking to one of the pastors up there, and she said, you know, 10 years ago, we would see a drug baby about once a week. She said, we see 3 a week now.
Wow.
And it's just gotten to the point where we have to do something. And I'm really, really pleasantly surprised to see the faith community up there get involved. You know, we're going to go deep.
Wow. So if people don't know what Hearts with the Mission does, this all started how many years ago now?
9, believe it or not.
9 years?
Yeah.
9 years. And it all came from an article in the paper you were reading, and God said, do something about it.
Yeah,
and
big God.
Well, yeah, what is it? Tell us what it is, the bottom line of what you do.
You know, it's basically taking kids that don't have anywhere to go. You know, it could be homeless, it could be at risk, it could be trying to escape drug addictions in their own home, and they're seeking help. And when they show up, you know, we stabilize them. We say, you know, we'll walk through and try to find the answers. And then our first primary goal is to stabilize them, give them emergency shelter. And then from there, it's hopefully to get them back home. And we go to the family and we see what it would take to reunify them back home. And if going back home isn't an option, then what we end up doing is working with host families. You know, because kids don't belong in a shelter. Right. They really don't. They belong in families, but they belong in safe, healthy families. And from there, you know, live life with the kids.
What about sponsor families or helping families? Do you need more?
Oh, absolutely.
So what's that requirement?
A heart that just says, I'm going to love them like Jesus.
Okay.
And letting us work with them. We do the vetting of the homes. We do the training. We do the case management with the youth. It could be, you know, from 0 to 21 years of age. Mm-hmm. It's just, and the average length of stay is about 45 days.
Really? So it's almost kind of like a foster thing, but not really.
Yeah, I mean, you don't receive compensation. You have to be willing to be supported by a church. And you know, I was talking to a DHS worker the other day, and she said that foster care is getting so bad in the state that she had seen a couple different memos come across her desk where the case managers with DHS was actually having to rent motel rooms and stay with kids in motel rooms because they don't have foster families. And you know, we need to be the church. We need to step up and we need to say, if I really care about my community, like I say I care about my community, I have to live it. I have to actually get out where there's hurting, and it gets messy out there.
Your requirements are fairly stringent for people who work in the facilities and be available. And are you looking for help and qualified people for Grants Pass?
Yeah, you know, God's really blessed us with some great people up there. Options, which is like the Jackson County Mental Health of here. They're a nonprofit just like us, yet they're recruiting people to come to work for us and actually having people that work for them come work for us. And, you know, they've just said, these are our kids. This is our community. We want to, you know, play a role in what it's going to take to help them. So We have a few spots left, but we have a staff of 11 already up
really?
there. Yeah.
So your goals will be open when?
Middle of next month.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been training the Grants Pass staff with real live youth right here in Medford, which that's been convenient for them to actually get to work in a shelter environment. So when we open up there, they'll just hit the ground running.
How many youth have you had go through your spot here?
Gosh, I knew you were going to ask me that. I was thinking that on the way out here this morning.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to be close to 650 just through the shelter, and then probably another 30 to 40 living in host homes.
Really? So that all sparked from, you know, an article that was in the paper of, what, 1,700 homeless teenagers in Jackson County? Where's that number now?
Actually, it's coming down. We're actually making a little bit of a dent in that, but I think statewide it's going up. I think that it just shows how desperate our families are for help when really there isn't any help out there for them, the type of help that they need. It's parenting, class 101. Or
even though you work with all these agencies, for the most part, they know you're a faith-based operation.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And how does that play into the program?
You know, it's what we believe. It's who we are. And I think we just don't make it a condition, you know, that if a youth needs a host family, we don't make it a condition that the youth has to believe like the host family, or we don't make it a condition for them to stay at the shelter that they have to read the Bible or pray or go to church. But I guarantee you, they will ask, why is it that you're doing what you're doing? And from there, that's the gospel. I'm doing it because what Christ has done for me. If he wasn't real, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, it's an amazing ministry. If you've never been there and seen the Hearts with a Mission here in Medford, and now opening Hearts with a Mission #2 in Grants Pass, I would assume what's happening here is you're creating a template that can be used all over the country and the state.
Yeah, and I hope the replication next time will go as quick as this one. You know, Perry, it took us over 3 years.
Right.
To get open here. Right. We didn't even start on even thinking about going up there until last December, so within 6 months.
Wow.
We will be open with the community is just begging, you know, give me a way to help. And the church up there, a lot of the churches are saying, we want to go deep in our community. This is a problem that affects all of us. It isn't, you know, homelessness with youth isn't just a church problem, or isn't just, you know, this is a community problem. And it seems like up there that homeless youth are a lot more visible. I don't know if because it's a smaller community, and I think it's like in Jackson County, the farther out you get, the worse it gets.
And how would you describe homeless? I mean, are they couch hopping? Are they living under bridges? What's a homeless youth?
Homeless youth is basically, you know, it lacks a fixed regular nighttime residence, and they're identified through our schools, through the Department of Education. A lot of the kids that we have fit that description just merely by being in the shelter because they're living there. But what we're talking about are kids that there's some form of abuse that are going on in the home, and they've reached out for help. And a lot of times, in order for DHS to step in, it has to get so bad, or it has to reach a certain level where they'll step in. And what we're saying, if you really care about a kid, why wait till they got a hole in their head, or wait till they've been physically or sexually abused? 70% of the kids we work with, we report either some form of abuse.
Wow.
So these aren't really your problem kids. These are kids that are trying to get away from their problem. That's why they're running away.
How does the youth spread this around, that this is the place to go? I mean, they probably have their own network, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, they're our #1 referral source now.
Really?
Yeah. We have, it's kind of cool seeing the kids that have come through the program that are now coming back. One will graduate from college this summer.
Wow.
And he's working there. And then we have another gal that went through the program. She's in her 3rd year of college working there. Every one of those kids, it's funny, you talk to them and you ask them, okay, we set goals with the kids, you know, just dream, what would you like to be? I want to come back and work here.
Really?
Yeah, that is their dream. That's their goal, because for a lot of these kids, it's the first time they've ever felt accepted, first time they've ever really felt loved, first time they've really ever been a part of any type of a family. We've had kids that say, this is the first time I've ever slept in a bed. In our community. This is in our community. This is in Jackson County.
Wow. So what are your needs? How can we help you?
People. You know, I think, you know, that we have to, I'm a host family. You know, it's time. What we say is, well, I don't have time to do that. I don't have time, trust me. Yet I want to be a host family because I cannot just sit back and watch kids fall through the crack without at least trying to help. So I think that is the best way to get involved. Make a meal, you know, mow a yard, you know, help the families that are actually hosting kids, you know, be a respite family, get involved. I think that's the big key.
How are you funded?
Through God. That has not changed.
Yeah.
And I got to admit, people say, how do you know you're doing what God wants you to do? And I said, if you saw our budget, if you saw what we have in the
nobody
bank,
would ever believe it.
you wouldn't believe that,
Yeah,
because
like
only
us.
because God removes everything other than Him to say, okay, here's how you're going to give me praise.
Yeah, I ditto that.
Yeah. So but no, we get a little money from the state. We're getting, you know, a little bit of, mainly it's just individuals.
Yeah.
You know, $50 here a month, you know, $100 here a month, $5 a month, $10 a month.
And anyway, if you want to learn more about it and you want to become involved in it, just call you, I guess, or go to your website.
Yeah, you can go to our website, heartswiththemission.org. You can see the Grants Pass shelter a little bit on there.
18 beds. And how long does somebody usually stay with you?
Well, you know what, we've actually, since we've been doing this now, as long as we have, we know that the best results for a youth is to be there between 45 days and they need to leave before 111 days. During
Really?
that period of time, yeah, everything seems to work real good. Well, you stay behind, you know, longer than 110 days, you no longer have hope because things on the outside aren't working out.
And so you're busy trying to match them up with family
Yep.
or host homes. Or,
Yeah. So it kind of gives us a goal to shoot for. We know that getting back home, and you got to help the entire family. In order for a kid to reunify back home, you can't just, and sometimes parents think, fix the kid, you know, and then have them come back. If we're not working with the family at the same time, it doesn't work.
There's another unique alliance that's part of what you do. Of course, you guys have joint facilities with Youth for Christ, and that's been very interesting because you can track them in school that way.
Yeah.
On campus.
Yeah. And what Bud and I learned is that a lot of times we're working with the same youth, and mentorship is huge. You know, I think just being able to plug into a kid to have that one constant. Our responsibility as Hearts with a Mission as a shelter is permanent connections, helping them establish permanent connections, because we can't mentor, you know, 650 kids. It's just impossible to do that. So we need people, you know, to walk along beside them.
Okay. Well, be looking for the Grants Pass shelter or Hearts with the Mission division opening up there sometime in the middle of next month. I'm sure you'll have a ribbon cutting or something going on.
We are. We're going to have a big grand opening and let people walk through there, and just to see what the community's done up there. It's been amazing.
Well, you started with the building here. I think you knocked everything down but one wall, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What happened over there? How much of a reno was that?
You know, it was just interior. It used to be a bank. So it was Southern Oregon Federal Credit Union, and so they had converted a home into a bank. And so it was just a matter of going in and getting the inside and then setting up the walls, and I think they're starting sheetrock this week.
And you'll have 18 beds.
18 beds, yeah, we'll have more, you know, capacity actually than we will in Jackson County.
Well, all right, so heartswiththemission.org, and I can't say enough what you guys do. Thank you for obeying the Lord. I remember when you were struggling with that call, and God has honored it. And there's a lesson there between the prayer and the answer. God makes the saint.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
You know, well, 3 years.
Yeah.
From the time you said,
does.
"Okay, God, I'll do it," to where you were.
Yeah, God is faithful. I'm a testimony to that. He is faithful. And what He is in, He finishes.
Yeah.
You know, so we don't have to doubt that. We don't have to question whether that's our own life or, you know, look at Hearts with a Mission.
Yeah, it's amazing. All right, check it out, heartswiththemission.org. Can't wait to get the email that you're doing the grand opening so we can be there for that too in Grants Pass.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll be right back.
I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at thedove.us.